What's up, pirates? Hello, Zelda. Say hi to Zelda.
Hi, Zelda. Actor Pro.
Welcome to another episode of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast, where I inspire you to optimize your health, find fulfillment, and maximize freedom. As you can see, I'm in a very spooky place. Back home, my parents' house in Lodi, California. We are prepping for Halloween, which, if you can't tell, is our favorite holiday. We create a full haunted house, and I dress up like a crazy clown maniac and walk around with this sledgehammer, actually. Except this year, I'm thinking I'm gonna carry around double hatchets. So, we'll see. But anyways, we have fun. This video is going to be on how I stay lean and shredded year-round, even during the holidays. So, if you are not currently within the realm of being lean and shredded, I recommend you stop watching this video, because if you're looking to get lean and shredded, it's probably not going to happen during the holiday season. Let's just be real. Almost nobody has that level of discipline and motivation to do it during the most difficult time of the year, because this is the most difficult time of the year to keep weight off and to stay consistent with your healthy habits. So this video is going to be for people like myself who are already relatively lean and who are looking to maintain that leanness throughout the holiday season. So before we get into that, I want to mention a lesson that I learned, well, that I've known, but I relearned today. So I took my skateboard out to the top of the parking garage, watched the sunrise. I met a wonderful woman named the Vegan Queen Cherie. She's gonna love that I shouted her out on here. She's wonderful. She was a security guard, and the top is blocked off, like you're not supposed to be up there, but she just came at it with when I say came at it, usually when the security guards come up and confront me, they tell me not to be up there, and I'm always polite with them. I explain, I know, but this is where I watch the sunrise in the morning. And without getting into all these details, I'm seeing there's a lot of things to piece together for you guys for this story to make sense. But anyway, she was very warm and welcoming. And anyways, that's not the point of this story. On my way back, I was thinking, hey, I haven't had my first fall with my skateboard yet. And failing is a very important part of anything, any new endeavor that you set out to get better at. So I remembered, okay, I'm gonna actively try to get my first fall, because up until that point I've been kind of playing it safe, learning balance and how to get going with it. And on my way back, I had my first fall right in the middle of the street for everybody to see. Got up and was like, that was my first fall, and it felt really good. It felt really good. Thankfully, I know how to fall, so I rolled and tumbled on my side. It was very graceful fall. But yeah, got the first fall out of the way, and then after that, it's like I instantly became 10% better at skateboarding because I had that first fall. Because when you fail, you learn. You learn from those failures. So my goal in everything now is just to fail as fast as possible. Even with these podcasts, I understand putting this podcast out, it's not going to be perfect. I actually recorded this same podcast yesterday, and I viewed that as a failure. I didn't like it at all. So here we are again today, re-recording it. So the lesson of that story is to fail. Fail as fast as possible. Seek out failure. That should be your goal. A lot of people, when they're starting something new, they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to mess up. They're afraid to look like a newbie, right? Like if you're on the topic of this video, if you're looking to get lean or stay lean, and you have a fear of looking like the new guy in the gym, well, that's not going to work out. So just go in and yeah, fail as fast as possible. That's how we learn. But yeah, the fall was fun. Anyways, on to the topic of this video. I'm sitting here with not coffee. I got coffee from my favorite local coffee shop here, Inspire Lodi. Unfortunately, they're selling it. Just too bad, because my guy Lance, who works in there, he's a good dude. Anyways, in here I've got some raw kefir, vanilla flavored kefir with Collagenous, which is a blend of adaptogenic mushrooms and collagen for healthy hair, skin, and nails, which, as you guys can see, is clearly working. I got the max mod put on for hair. I just maxed out the hair bar. Like if you're creating your own video game character, I just put that bar all the way to the end, maximum amount of hair. So shout out to the collagen for keeping it healthy. And the adaptogenic mushrooms in here, we got chaga, reishi, lion's mane, and cordyceps. Chaga is a powerful antioxidant. It's been found to have anti-cancer properties and just overall health. Anything that's an antioxidant will help reduce the oxidative stress on the body. Reishi is good at relaxing, like down regulatory. Lion's mane is good for a cognitive boost. It increases BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor. So really good one to take in the morning, as well as cordyceps. Cordyceps is a good natural energy booster. A lot of people use it as a pre-workout. So I have at least one serving of Collagenous every day, usually 2 servings. Typically I'll have it in my coffee in the morning, but because I already had my coffee, I've got it in my kefir now. And I also mixed in some ashwagandha from the Stampede Network and some creatine as well. So that is what I'm sipping on. You guys can use code Captain Morgan to get a discount on Collagenous. Link will be in the description. That can also be used as a coffee replacement. So if you're looking to wean off of coffee, if you're addicted to it, if you have to have it when you wake up in the morning, then I recommend taking a 7 to 10 day caffeine reboot. That's how long it takes your adenosine receptors, which is what the caffeine binds to in your brain, to reset. So you'll find that once you come off of that week of no caffeine, you will have much more natural energy, and it will require much less caffeine to actually have the same effect. So I recommend everybody do a caffeine reboot at least once a quarter if you consume it every day. And during that time, Collagenous is a fantastic replacement for coffee. So, all right, and what else am I on right now? I take a lot of brain boosting compounds before recording something like this to make sure my mind is sharp. I'm also running a Nic Nac, which is a nicotine mint, artificial sweetener free. That's one of the problems with, I see a lot of guys using Zyn pouches, which, yeah, they may taste good, but that's because of the artificial sweeteners that are in there, which have been proven to wreak havoc on your gut. And if your gut's fucked up, it doesn't matter how good you're eating, you're not absorbing a lot of those nutrients. So, especially for the topic of this video, if you're looking to get and stay lean, digestion plays a huge part in that. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding all artificial sweeteners. So that's why I use Nic Nacs. I like all their flavors. They got spearmint, which is what I'm using now, wintergreen, peppermint, grapefruit, and blood orange. And it's rare that I like all the flavors of something, but Nic Nac nailed it on their flavors. They use xylitol to sweeten it, and spearmint essential oil. So benefits of nicotine, specifically for the topic of this video, is that it can be used as an appetite suppressant. I personally don't notice those effects. I eat a shit ton of food, but yeah, some people can use it to reduce their appetite. And it also increases metabolism. So it's a wonderful combination with caffeine, because caffeine can also increase metabolism and reduce hunger. So if you're looking to stay lean during the holidays, nicotine and caffeine can be a wonderful little hack for that to use in your morning. So that's what I got going on now. I didn't take it for the hunger reducing effects or the metabolism increasing effects. I don't need any help in that category. I use nicotine because it boosts acetylcholine in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter responsible for helping you stay focused and alert. So that's why I take it before recording these videos. Anything else I want to get into before we dive into this? Use code Captain Morgan to get a discount on Nick Knacks. They come in 3 milligram and 6 milligram. So just depending on your tolerance. 6 milligrams are pretty strong. So if you're new to this, I recommend starting with 3 milligram. All right, what else? That's all I want to get into right now. So that's let's get into the topic of today's video: how to stay lean during the holidays. If you're watching this video and you're not already, I would say within like, if you're above 15% body fat, or no, let's say above like 17, 18% body fat. If you're pushing 20% plus body fat, this video is not for you. If you are in that body fat percentage range, this video will not help you as much. These are going to be more tips and tricks and different strategies and hacks that I use to stay lean, not to get lean. If you're looking to get lean, you need to transform your entire lifestyle. You need to adopt new habits. You need to adopt new thoughts, new motivations, and adopt new habits. So I didn't bring my notebook down here, but I talked about this last night on the crew call. So as part of joining the crew, which is my high performance health community, each week the members hop on a coaching call with myself, and yesterday was our call, and we talked about how to get lean during the holidays. And I mentioned it's fucking hard, and that's why nobody does it. You wait till January 1st, right, when it's new year, new me, right? So I talked about you need to completely transform your lifestyle and go from fat thoughts to sexy thoughts, from fat habits to sexy habits, from fat motivators to sexy motivators. So examples of these fat thoughts would be something along the lines of it's just this once, or it's just a little bit, it's just one drink, right? No, the fuck it's not. You know it's not. Especially during the holidays. We got Halloween, which is tomorrow actually, and then we've got Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's. So it's just one weekend after the other. It's not just this one time, right? That's an example of a fat thought. It's just this once, or it's just one drink, right? It's not. It's the principle of it. So, which this is completely different if you're like myself and you're looking to stay lean. So again, two completely different things here. Let's see, what do I want to get into? Fat motivators. Fat motivators. What are, and you don't have to be fat to have fat thoughts or take fat actions, which I'll explain. So fat motivators are instant pleasure and gratification. Everybody is seeking dopamine. That's just human nature. We are driven to seek out dopamine. Fat motivators are people who are driven by pleasure or motivated by pleasure. They want that instant gratification. They want that instant pleasure, and I'll put pleasure in air quotes because it's not really pleasurable. Yes, you feel good after eating that thing, after having the drink, after scrolling, while scrolling social media, but then after the fact, you indulge in that instant gratification. You feel bad after. You feel shame, you feel guilt, energy is lower, right? So it's the trap. You get the instant dopamine, but then it doesn't continue. So a fit motivator or a sexy motivator would be to be driven by reward. So instead of seeking dopamine through pleasure, you seek dopamine through reward, which is going to be one of the topics that we stick on today for how to stay lean. It's all the same thing. When you're looking to accomplish a goal, you got to switch your driving force from pleasure to reward, and you do that by overcoming challenges, by doing hard things. So natural ways to increase dopamine are setting a goal and accomplishing it, like working towards a goal. Exercise increases dopamine. Being in the sunlight increases dopamine. Cold exposure, taking an ice bath, can increase dopamine by up to 250%. So next time you get that craving for something, whatever your vice food of choice is, take a cold shower. That way you still get the dopamine and you feel better, feel more energized. Fat actions. Some examples of fat actions: waking up, hitting snooze. You're delaying the very first thing you have to do today. You say, not right now, I'll wake up later. That is a huge fat action. And again, you don't have to be fat to take fat actions, right? So hitting snooze, this is why, as part of the Cages morning ritual, the C is cold exposure. As soon as you wake up, get in the cold shower, get your day started on a productive note, keep the energy high, and start your day by doing something challenging. Seek out reward instead of pleasure. And I know it's hard. It's hard to wake up first thing in the morning, get into the cold shower, because that's the last thing you want to do. You want to stay warm and cozy under the covers. And that's exactly why it's a fat action to hit snooze and to stay in bed longer, because that's what fat and lazy people do. They put off what they know that they should be doing. All right, so that's an example of a fat action. There's a lot more that I can go into switching fat actions and fat habits to sexy actions and sexy thoughts, but that would be another video. So I told myself I was gonna stay on the topic today, because yesterday one of the things that I didn't like about the video is that I kind of bounced around between these two things. So staying on the topic of how to stay lean during the holidays. By the way, before we continue, if you are looking to get lean, again, you're probably not going to want to do it now. If you are, that's great. Click link in the description, join the crew. Again, that's my high performance health community. You get an instant community of like-minded, health-oriented, and goal-driven individuals to not only hold you accountable to the things that you say you want to do, but also inspire you to continue making these changes in your life. You get a weekly coaching call with myself, as well as monthly high-performance masterminds. You get access with guest speakers. This last month's mastermind, actually it's still October, so this month's mastermind I had on Zach Blakeney, who I interviewed on my podcast a while ago on overcoming addictions, specifically pornography. But all addictions are really the same, right? You're driven by that pleasure instead of seeking reward. So in this mastermind, he talked about how to cultivate your relationship with yourself, how to improve your relationship with yourself. And I like to separate the word yourself into two words: yourself, your soul. I like to capitalize the S in self. So he talked about how to eliminate feelings of shame, grief, and what's the other one? Shame, grief, and regret. So how to transform those to lead the life that you actually want to live. So that was a fantastic mastermind. You can watch the recording of that. It's in the knowledge database. That's another thing you get for joining the crew, is a knowledge database that I update in various different categories, like mindset, stress, masculinity, and this mastermind is in the masculinity section. You can watch the replay. Highly recommend. You also get access to my morning and evening rituals course, which is something we're going to talk about today. That's absolutely a crucial part in staying lean, is maintaining these certain high performance habits. And the best way that I found to make sure that these get done every single day is to put them at the bookends of your day, because as we know, the days can get chaotic, and you don't always have control over what happens, but you do have control over the first hour in your morning. Nobody's bothering you. Same thing right before you go to bed. You have control over that time. So stacking a lot of these habits in the bookends of your day to get your day started on a productive note, and to finish your day relaxed, down-regulated, so you can get that deep rest to give your brain and body time to recover, to do it all again the next day. So yeah, you get access to the morning and evening rituals course. You also get access to my alcohol optimization and hangover remedies course. So especially during the holidays, it's very popular for a lot of people to drink, right? I personally rarely drink, and that's why I created this. It's like a 20-minute video that explains all of the strategies and hacks that I use when I do choose to drink to minimize the effect, because alcohol is poison, and it's a surefire way to not stay lean if you do that on a consistent basis, because it causes inflammation in the body, which getting lean is not just about reducing fat, but it's about reducing inflammation. So alcohol is a huge culprit in that. So you get access to all of this for joining the crew. Another crucial piece that you get is the third email that you'll get is how to create your MVVP, your mission, vision, values, and purpose. This was transformational for me in becoming a new person. So again, if you're looking to get lean, you need to not only be running away from being fat, right? But you need to be moving towards something that you want to pursue. So a lot of people watching this right now, you know that you're not happy with where you're at, but you don't know exactly what it is that you're going towards. And especially when you're just starting out, it's difficult to maintain these habits, because you're quite literally reprogramming your old thought patterns, your old actions and beliefs into this new version of yourself. So it's important to know who you are and what it is that you're pursuing. So that's all explained in the mission, vision, values, and purpose process. I'll record a whole video on that, because I could talk for a long time on the importance of that. But that is crucial for getting lean and staying lean, to remember who it is that you are and why you're doing all of this. You also get the Captain's Code, which is what today's podcast is going to be about. These are, so I talked about transforming fat habits into sexy habits. The Captain's Code are an example of sexy habits. You implement these 12 habits into your life, and you will be sexy. I guarantee it. I can tell you from experience. I mean, come on. So yeah, all that for joining the crew. It's just $1. The link will be in the description. All right, so now let's talk about how to stay lean during the holidays when it's most difficult. Where's my drink? Here we go. All right, so now everybody who's watching this, I assume you're within that like 15 and below % body fat. All right, that's the only reason, or that's the only way that you're going to be able to stay lean during the holidays by implementing these habits. So living by the Captain's Code is going to be the number one. If you haven't already read this, you can get it for free. Click the link in the description. It'll be in there. These are the 12 non-negotiable habits that I lead my life by. So real quickly, I'll read them off to you. We got cold exposure, affirmations, play with life, train your mind and your body, accept reality and act accordingly, inspire others, nasal breathing, which is why I've got on this nasal strip right now, sun exposure, connect with nature and with the crew, observe your thoughts, language, and actions, delegate tasks to others, and eat real food. So these 12 habits must be non-negotiable in your life. So again, how to incorporate that? I recommend following the Cages morning ritual and the 4-3-2-1-30 method evening ritual. Like I mentioned, creating those solid bookends to your day. So the Cages morning ritual is cold exposure. Again, first thing you do when you wake up, get in the cold shower. Because if you're looking to stay lean, you need to be disciplined, right? You need to maintain that discipline and that consistency. One of the best ways that I've found for me to do that and to maintain that level of discipline is to, first thing when I wake up, get into the cold shower, right? That's going to boost your energy. It's going to boost your dopamine. It's going to get your day started off with overcoming a challenge, something that 99% of the population does not want to do. So it automatically boosts your self-confidence. Then we've got affirmations. Affirmations are important to repeat to yourself to reaffirm who it is that you are becoming, right? Because maintaining this, especially during the holidays when everybody else around you is exhibiting, bad habits, these fat habits, of eating whatever they want and say, oh, it's the holiday season, right? It's important to remind yourself every single day by reviewing your MVVP, any affirmations you set for yourself, who you are and why you are on this journey. So again, we can talk more about affirmations. You can send me a message and we can chat about it in the crew. Then we've got growth. That's the G in cages. Growth is learning new information. So setting this in the morning, because I know for me, if I don't do it in the morning, it can often get neglected because we get caught up in other things, as my cats are running around the Halloween decorations. So either reading in the morning, taking some educational course, going through the morning and evening rituals program, listening to a podcast, something that educates you in something that you can then use to improve your life. Then we've got exercise. It's important to get some form of movement first thing in the morning, whether that's stretching, body weight exercises, going for a morning walk, especially when fasted. This is a surefire way to maintain your leanness, is to get some form of morning fasted movement in, all right? So one of my new favorite ways to do this is to skate to the top of the parking garage here and then skate back, as well as doing some light stretching and body weight movements. I'm constantly moving throughout the day, always changing positions. We've got, my parents have a two-story house, so every time I come down the stairs, I hang on the ledge and do some pull-ups, some leg raises. We've got pull-up bar out here. I also keep Captains of Crush grip strength trainer at my desk in my car. I travel with this. I'll do like max holds. So just constantly moving, because it's not just about spending an hour in the gym and then the rest of your day is just sedentary. It's about constant movement to maintain leanness, all right? Other little hacks for that, like bands are fantastic. Keeping dumbbells, kettlebells around, something that you can get a quick burst of movement in. That's one of the main strategies that I recommend. Is if you're looking to stay lean, you're probably not moving enough. So move your body more. What else? So that was the E. And then S, this is the most important part, sunlight. Make sure that you watch the morning sunrise, because that will set your circadian rhythm, which is the most important part of health, because it will improve your sleep, for one. And once your sleep gets better, everything else in your life gets better. So specific to this topic, if you're looking to stay lean, getting deep rest and recovery for your brain and body will allow you to make better decisions. When your brain is rested and recovered, you can actually make better decisions. Your cravings also go down. So if you find that you're craving sweets or salty foods during the holidays, it may be because you're not rested enough. So getting that deep rest and recovery will improve your cravings, will improve your ability to make decisions, and a whole lot more. Everything gets better. Sleep is the rising tide that raises all ships. And then sun exposure goes beyond just watching the sunrise, also maximizing your time outside. That's why I'm recording this podcast outside, because getting the natural light at all times is crucial for this, especially afternoon sun will help you burn more fat if you spend more time out in the afternoon sun, getting that UV exposure, which will increase vitamin D, increase nitric oxide. And during the holidays, there's ways to hack that, because it's winter time. I'm assuming where most of you guys are watching this, especially if you live in northern latitudes like Minnesota, for example, where I spend some time. How I hack UV light, I get this question a lot. If you live in a place where it's overcast, you're like, how can I get more light? Number one, spend as much time outside as possible. Like it's always better to be outside than it is inside. Another thing that I do is supplement with tanning beds, because that will give you the UV exposure. But again, use it as a supplement. And then also red light therapy will improve your ability to absorb UV light and heal from sunburns. Actually, not that sunburns are really a problem in the winter, but getting a high quality red light therapy panel. Shout out to Gemba Red. This is the brand that I use because they are the most effective, it's the best on the market, and the most affordable. So I interviewed Andrew Latour on my podcast, the founder of this brand, and he's just a fucking genius when it comes to light. So he makes sure that he uses the specific wavelengths as well as the specific intensity that is recommended for optimal red light therapy. They're also very low EMF and zero flicker, so again, they're the best on the market. Benefits of red light therapy go deep. Not going to go into all of them, but it can help you lose fat, improve your energy because it boosts mitochondrial function. So anything that boosts mitochondrial function will help you help your energy levels and also help you stay lean. Improves muscular recovery, improves vascularity, and a whole lot more. So that's how to hack the lack of sunlight that often occurs in the winter. Get outside as much as possible, supplement with tanning beds, and get a red light therapy panel, as well as block all artificial light in the evening, which now we get into the 4-3-2-1-30 method evening ritual. Actually, before we get to that, just a quick summary of the Cages morning ritual. And how to practically incorporate it. So this could take anywhere from 15 minutes at the minimum up to an hour. So starting your day off with a cold shower, get that done first thing in the morning, read your affirmations to yourself in the mirror, really feel them, all right? You can't just read it to check the box. You have to actually feel them, all right? And then growth. So after I do that, I'll read, or like today I listened to a video program that I'm a part of, listen to a podcast, and you can also combine these things. Like if you're pressed for time, you can do the cold shower, morning affirmations, and then go for a morning walk, which will combine the exercise and the sunlight. And you can also listen to a podcast during that time. So that's an example of how to practically incorporate these things into your life to make sure that you get the most important things done: the cold, the sun, the movement, the education. All right, so now the 4-3-2-1-30 method, because while it's important to start your day on a productive note, it becomes much easier to do that if you actually wake up well rested. So the 4-3-2-1-30 method is the best way that I've found to downregulate in the evening, to allow my brain and body to get the deep rest that is needed. Because I'm not just talking about sleep, I'm talking about resting your nervous system, all right? So the 4 is stop all intense exercise at least 4 hours before bed, because although exercise can be a good stress, if done before bed, it will raise your cortisol and raise your core body temperature, the two things that you do not want elevated before bed. All right, so finish intense exercise at least 4 hours before bed, so you allow your cortisol levels to drop and your core body temperature to drop as well. The 3 is stop eating within 3 hours before bed, especially during the winter. Now that the sun is setting earlier, I recommend not eating after the sun has set. So only eat when it's light outside. I interviewed a sleep expert on my podcast like 2 years ago, and this was his #1 recommended hack for people who want better sleep, is to stop eating so close to bed. So my recommendation is 3 hours, but if you can push it to 4 hours, even better, because we don't want any food in our stomach digesting, because that also raises our core body temperature, digesting food. So finish up all large meals within 3 hours before bed. And again, I realize that this is difficult during the holidays, which is why I said nobody is really going to get lean during the holidays, but if you incorporate these strategies, you can maintain your leanness during the holidays. So like how you can do this if you're going over to Thanksgiving is like make your own food, eat it beforehand, and then just go hang out. And I understand that this is, counter culture. It's going to be difficult for a lot of people to hear the feedback from their family, like, oh, you're not going to eat with us, and then that's your opportunity to explain no, and here's why, right? Then the 2 is limit all forms of stimulation, primarily light stimulation. So this is when you want to put on your blue light blockers. After the sun goes down, put on a pair of blue light blockers. Shout out to Viva Rays, which is my preferred company, because they make the 3-in-1, which their base frame is the indoor screen lenses, so you wear these under artificial lighting or if you're staring at a computer screen. And then they've got the evening lenses that you put on during sunset to mimic like a bonfire, right? Everything's more reddish and orange. And then about an hour before bed, you put on the nighttime lenses that just are complete red, block out 100% blue, 100% green, and reduce the brightness of light by 20%, I believe. So with those lenses on, it's almost impossible to stay up past your bedtime. Which, if you think that's weird, if you don't have a bedtime, that's another huge hack, is to have a bedtime. Have a bedtime and a wake-up time and stay consistent with that. That's another hack to improve your sleep, is consistency with bedtime and wake-up times. Then the 1 is when your nightly ritual begins. So to start off, I recommend limiting your liquid intake. So if you have to wake up to pee in the middle of the night, no more liquids an hour before bed, because waking up will obviously disrupt the quality of your sleep. You want to sleep through the night. So stop drinking an hour before bed. And this is also when it's time to stop work and start down regulating. One of my personal favorites to do this is to stretch and do yoga and feel into my body, right? Notice where you're holding any tension, breathe into it, hold those stretches for at least 30 seconds. That's my preferred way to down regulate. You could also take a nice Epsom salt bath, a hot shower, reading, journaling, anything that will down regulate you and get you ready for a deep slumber. And then the 30 is supplements. So my number 1 recommended supplement that everybody take is magnesium. I'm not going to go into the whole reasons why, but I've talked about that on many other podcasts. But specifically for sleep, it will improve your natural melatonin production as well as reduce stress and anxiety. So my go-to supplement for before bed. I also take it during the day, but yeah, you can get the full explanation of the morning and evening rituals that I just explained by joining the crew. I think it's like 90 minutes total of video and slide explanations going into more detail on all these things. But again, if you're looking to stay lean during the holidays, creating those bookends and staying consistent with those, maintaining those habits is going to be crucial. All right, so now let's talk about like what I would do, let's say on Thanksgiving, for example, when I know I'm going to be eating a larger carbohydrate meal. Here's what I would do. So I would implement the Cage's morning ritual, and then I would also get an intense workout sometime during the day to make sure that my muscles have been depleted of glycogen. So then when I do have carbs, it goes into the muscles instead of being turned into fat. So on days like that, I will save all my carbs until the evening and make sure that I'm active throughout the day. And a lot of times I'll fast up until that big meal in the evening. So yeah, workout, cold exposure, fasting, and then saving your carbs for the evening. And then when you do have carbs, I supplement with Blood Sugar Breakthrough, which has a whole bunch of different compounds to reduce the blood sugar spike that you get from high carb meals. So if you're eating, desserts and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you mitigate the blood sugar spike from that in order to stay lean. So ways to do that are cold exposure. You're going to start to notice that everything kind of ties in together. So I'll be repeating myself a lot, but cold exposure reduces the blood sugar spike. So if you take a cold shower before or after eating high carb meals, that will help. Exercise, we've already covered that. Movement, so not just exercise, but movement. After you eat a high carb meal, go for a walk. Go for a 10 to 20 minute walk. That will reduce your blood sugar spike. That's also a fantastic opportunity to get the rest of your family in on these healthy habits. Like after Thanksgiving dinner, for example, instead of lounging on the couch, you can invite everyone to go out and go for a walk. So that gets everybody outside, gets everybody moving. They're gonna notice how their digestion is improved, how their energy is improved. So lead by example, right? This is why it can be difficult to do during the holidays, because everybody else is in their fat habits, right? They're just fat and lazy, just kind of going with the flow because that's the normal thing to do. Well, it's your job as the captain of your own life to lead by example. You're going to be the weirdo. Believe me, I'm the fucking weirdo in the family who's very disciplined in all these health habits, and that's how I'm able to look the way that I do, feel the way that I do, and live a healthy, fulfilling, and free life, because I'm not doing the habits that the rest of my family is doing. And I have no interest in doing that, even for the holidays, because I see where they're at in life, and I don't want that. So my habits align with the people who I want to be like, the highest version of myself. So yeah, I recommend you start to lead by example, especially when it's uncomfortable. Other things that will reduce the blood sugar spike of high carb meals, blood sugar breakthrough, you guys can use code Captain Morgan to get a discount on anything from Bioptimizers. Staying on this topic, digestion, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, is an important piece to look at, because if you're not digesting the food, especially if it's, you know, all this, I don't want to say bad food, but usually during the holidays, it's quality control can go out the window. So before each meal, I supplement with my digestive SWAT team, which is a blend of digestive enzymes, hydrochloric acid, which is just stomach acid, and then their patented probiotic, P3OM. So this trio acts just like that, a SWAT team for my digestion. So it allows me to obviously digest the food better, to reduce any digestive problems like gas, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, for example, and actually absorb more nutrients from that food. Because yeah, gut health is crucial to pay attention to if you're looking to stay lean. Anybody should be paying attention to gut health, right? Because if you have a leaky gut, that can lead to a leaky brain, because your gut is your second brain. So if there's a problem going on in the gut, that can manifest as skin issues, brain fog, irritability, etc. So gut health is crucial, which is why I recommend fasting. I realize I'm kind of bouncing around, but this is why I like to do one-on-one coaching, to, you know, talk with you individually and see what works for you and your schedule, because there's different ways to fast. You can fast in the morning, you can fast in the evening, you can eat one meal a day. Like there's lots of different ways to maintain leanness and just overall wellness, which is why I do one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link in the description and book your free captain's consultation call with me, and I'll create a like 10 to 15 page blueprint of everything that I recommend for you. Your specific morning ritual, your specific evening ritual, your personalized fat loss protocol, like whatever it is that you need. I'll put it all into this PDF document, and then we hop on a call every week to discuss your goals and rewrite the stories that you're telling yourself, etc. What else do I want to cover for that? Now let's talk about healthy alternatives. So you can still have all of the holiday food that you want to eat, as long as you make these healthy switches. So for example, any sort of baked goods can be made with gluten-free flour instead of gluten, which destroys the lining of your gut and can cause digestive upset, leaky gut, and inflammation as well. Gluten, for the most part, at least in the United States, is heavily sprayed with glyphosate, which also destroys your gut. So gluten in America is something that I recommend avoiding, because it's highly inflammatory, destroys your gut, etc. So if I do choose to consume gluten, which is very rare, I've got this supplement, Gluten Guardian. So during the holidays, when I go over to my grandma's house, for example, she doesn't cook gluten-free, but sometimes I'm going to want to have one of her delicious desserts. So that's why I know how to supplement it with Gluten Guardian, and also the blood sugar breakthrough to help me digest the gluten. Other healthy alternatives, like Halloween, for example. Most people will just eat, you know, regular Halloween candy. Got these bags here. I want to cover some of the ingredients that are in this candy, because maybe you haven't actually looked at the ingredients in candy. You know, okay, yeah, candy's bad, but what's actually in there? Let me read some of this stuff to you guys. You know sugar's in there, right? Obviously sugar is in candy, but it goes beyond that. Sugar's not actually the problem. If you exercise, you're able to eat a lot of sugar, like myself. I eat a lot of carbs. Not really like white refined sugar like this, but it's really not that big of a deal. What's a bigger problem are things like corn syrup, palm oil, artificial flavor. What else is in here? Lactose, which if you're lactose intolerant, that can be a problem. Yeah, just a whole bunch of corn syrup, sugar, yeah, palm oil, artificial colors. We've got red 40, yellow 6, yellow 5, blue 1, just a whole bunch of fucking crap in here. And then if chocolate's not your thing, if you like fruity candy, that's even worse. Let me read you the ingredients in here. Sugar, corn syrup, hydrogenated palm kernel oil, very inflammatory, artificial colors, red 40, yellow 5, blue 2, just a whole bunch of fucking nonsense. Soybean oil, maltodextrin, bullshit, all right? So healthy alternatives for candy, like I got myself some dark chocolate covered organic raisins and cranberries. Tastes way better than this shit, and it's actually real food. Dark chocolate is wonderful. There's some compounds in there like theobromine, for example. There's antioxidants in dark chocolate. Plus you're getting the benefits from the raisins and cranberries, and so there are healthy alternatives to whatever it is that you want to consume. You just gotta put a little bit of effort into figuring out what those things are for you. And again, if you have any questions, click the link in the description, join the crew, send me a message. This is the type of stuff that the community talks about daily in our Telegram chat. So you can have all the food, all the holiday food, just make the healthy substitutions. And if you don't want to make the healthy substitutions, that's where the supplements come in. The Digestive SWAT team, the Gluten Guardian, the Blood Sugar Breakthrough, as well as your sexy habits, cold exposure, exercise, fasting, etc. All right, alcohol, I covered this a little bit already. Alcohol is poison, all right? So I mentioned as part of joining the crew, you get access to my alcohol optimization and hangover remedies course. So if you do choose to drink during the holidays, do it this way. Implement these hacks, and I promise you, you will reduce the inflammation. You will feel better when you wake up, and you'll still be able to be productive and have 1 or 2 drinks of your choice. All right, I'll briefly summarize my fat loss protocol because I've kind of been bouncing around in this podcast, but as part of one-on-one coaching, this is one of the things that will be included in your PDF blueprint is a fat loss protocol, or just how to stay lean. So I've covered basically all the habits already, starting your day with cold exposure and doing that throughout the day, especially if you're consuming a lot of carbs, doing cold exposure throughout the day, moving throughout the day, especially a high intensity workout. It's got to be high intensity. You got to deplete your muscles of glycogen. And then taking things like apple cider vinegar, the Blood Sugar Breakthrough before the meal to reduce the blood sugar spike, and then staying active after the meal, even if it's just standing. Standing is better than sitting, lounging back. Even better would be to go for a walk, all right? Grounding can also help. That will reduce inflammation. Getting out in the sun will help as well. So all of these things kind of stack in together, right? So the last thing that I'll leave you with is so you may know all this stuff, you've heard it before: cold exposure, exercise, eat better food, right? These are the basics. We know these things. How can I actually stay consistent and implement these, especially during the holidays when it's more difficult, when your family is around you, pressuring you, like, oh, you're really not gonna have grandma's homemade brownies? They're made with love, Taylor. They're special, right? You're not gonna have this brownie for grandma? No, I'm not. And if I choose yes, then I've got these hacks, the supplements, right? So it goes back to, instead of seeking pleasure, you seek reward. Turn pleasure into reward. That's going to require delaying instant gratification, because in the moment, everybody's going to want to make that decision. Another example of fat thoughts is when your brain starts to rationalize with you or to justify, which the definition of justify is to right a wrong. It's to make something that you know is wrong into a right by rationalizing it and justifying, right? Like, oh, it's just this one time, it's just this little bit, right? That's an example of fat thoughts. So that's an example of pleasure-seeking behavior. Your brain wants that quick dopamine, that pleasure. It's trying to convince you that this is the right action to take. So you have to recognize that it's just your brain seeking this pleasure, dopamine, and instead turning that into reward seeking. So you still get the dopamine, but after you overcome a challenge and pursue a goal, right? So I mentioned some things already. The cold exposure is fantastic for this. Doing a set of push-ups is great. Getting out in the sun, grounding, and turning the pleasure into reward. So let's see, what else? But yeah, basically just living by the Captain's Code is a surefire way to maintain leanness and overall health and wellness all year round. That's why they're the 12 non-negotiable habits in my life. If you haven't already read it, click the link in the description, download your copy of the Captain's Code. I recommend printing it out. I got these made for everybody who attended the immersion, so you get a physical copy, and it's nice. It's printed on thick paper. But yeah, click the link in the description, download the Captain's Code, join the crew if you're looking for a supportive group of health-oriented and goal-driven individuals, because that is another crucial step in maintaining leanness and accomplishing any goal, is having people around you who support you and are also maintaining these habits themselves. Because normal society is not doing that, which is why I'm making this video in the first place. So it's important to surround yourself with people who are, people who inspire you to stay on this path. And that's what the crew offers for you guys, as well as weekly coaching calls with myself, the high performance masterminds with guest speakers, and a whole lot more. I've already talked about it. So that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, click the link in the description, join the crew, send them to me. That's where I do all of my coaching, because my social media messages are getting out of hand. I don't respond to all of them anymore. And the best place to get a hold of me is to join the crew. So yeah, leave a comment on if this video helped you, if there's anything that you have to add to this video, and anything else you would like me to cover in the future. But that's it for today. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day preparing for Halloween here. And until next time, remember, live the Captain's lifestyle. Peace and love, y'all.